I sometimes find, and this will come up in another book that's going to come out in a year called, and I'm giving this talk at Steubenville now.
This weekend? Mm-hmm. Great.
Called When Protestants Argue Like Atheists. This is a series I've done.
This is brilliant. I've heard you do this recently, and I thought it was wonderful. Yeah. You've got a great ability to take complex things and make them so stupidly simple that we all wonder why we hadn't thought of this yet. Or we think, how come someone hasn't addressed this somewhere? Maybe they have. I don't know.
Stupid like a fox. Homer Simpson.
No, I watched your interview with Cameron Bertuzzi, and you addressed this. So feel free to lay it out for us.
I was going to say that I've noticed that sometimes when Protestants are presented with alleged...
Stupid like a fox. Keep going.
Right. Well, like alleged Bible, they say, Homer, this seems really stupid. Stupid like a fox. Back from, I think, season 2 through 9, the only good Simpsons. I've noticed that when Protestants are presented with difficulties in the Bible, they'll be very generous to the Bible. They'll say, oh, well, there's all of this cultural context we don't understand. There could be textual errors. There's allegory. This is a non-literal reading of the text. And they're willing to explore, and they'll put a lot of effort into exploring all the possible ways of resolving a Bible difficulty. But when they find a difficulty in the deuterocanonical books like Tobit, that's proof it's not inspired. Or if you read a Vatican I, when it says that in every age it's known that Peter was the vicar of Christ, that Peter received this authority from Jesus. Oh, but what about these church fathers in this period? They don't say anything about that. Oh, see, Vatican I is false. Therefore, Catholicism is false. Well, wait a minute. Dial back. Genesis 1:6 talks about a firmament, a hammered out dome that keeps water above us, which is from a Hebrew cosmology that's false. But that's not an error in Scripture, because the Bible's not asserting scientific truths about the way the world works. Cardinal Caesar Baronius once said, the Bible teaches us how to go to heaven, not how the heavens go. And so, when I see this, like, they'll pick up magisterial texts or the Deuterocanon and find, there's a problem right there. Boom, it's false. But they're not willing to give that same elasticity that they'll give to the Bible itself. And so that's dangerous, because if you have that same narrow, I found a contradiction, well, then that can be applied just to the Bible itself. Now, there is a difficulty here, because it's funny, some people have told me, well, Trent, are you going to say there's no errors in the Quran, or there's no errors in the Book of Mormon, because you don't want to act, because you're acting like an atheist? And my response to that is, actually, yeah, I'm actually very reserved in the amount of errors I will ascribe to the Quran or the Book of Mormon.
Just let me pause and back up for a second.
Sure.
So when you say that Protestants sometimes argue like atheists, what you're saying is they are as critical of the Deuterocanonicals as atheists are of Scripture without trying to understand the context.
Right.
Okay.
They've already got it set in their mind. Like, just as an atheist has it set in his mind, the proto-canon is just a bunch of human documents, and they're going to show that. I think a lot of Protestants, when they examine the Deuterocanonical books, they will say, these are just human documents, and look at all of these errors in it. And I've covered this. I've had dialogues with two wonderful Protestant. I've had a debate on this on your channel with Steve Christie. Yeah. People can go and watch that. Yep. And I've dialogued with Steve and one of his cohorts. And so he's a goy for Jesus. Now his name is escaping me at the moment, but you can see their channels. And that's what I love. I love having dialogues with people who disagree. But that's one of the criticisms thrown back at me is, are you going to say there's no error, are you acting like an atheist if you say the Book of Mormon is wrong or the Quran? No, I give those books the same amount of leeway, though I still find problems. So, for example, I did a whole video about this where I was engaging I believe he's an imam, or maybe Sheikh Uthman is his name. He's a I don't know if he's an imam or not. Maybe he is. But he teaches in San Diego at a mosque there, and he does these tables at Balboa Park. We went to Balboa Park once, so it was fun to talk to atheists. So he had a video talking about Catholicism, and then he was offering evidence for Islam, talking about, in the Quran, talking about the splitting of the moon. And Christians have to be careful with this. They'll say, the Quran is stupid. It says Muhammad split the moon. Wouldn't people have noticed that? I say, well, the book of Joshua says Joshua made the sun stand still. Wouldn't people have noticed that?
Exactly, yeah.
And so what I would say is, well, in the book of Joshua, that might have been a local optical miracle, where only the people in that battle, the sun was still shining. while the rest of the earth, it was still, the earth rotated and everything was the same. So maybe that's an optical miracle. Maybe it's a figurative way to describe an omen, a way of speaking in ancient ways that you accomplished in one battle would have taken like 2 or 3 days. So if it's non-literal, then the splitting of the moon could maybe be non-literal in the Quran. I'm willing to give them an out there if that is the case.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment below letting us know what you thought about the video.